bringing to you not just Let's Plays, but novel plays as well. Hello, I am once again the Tenkaichi, and this is still a kiss for the Petals, remembering how we met. Last time it was about the tea party, now it's about something else. Let's continue, shall we? After the tea party wrapped up without any major incidents, our peaceful days returned. Until just recently, we were being summoned to committee meetings, even during our lunch break, so I hadn't had a leisurely afternoon in a while. Today, I finally managed to enjoy a relaxing lunch with my friends.
Lisa-san, お茶会実行委員のお仕事、本当にお疲れ様でした。ありがとう。でもあまり大したことはしてないんだけど。とんでもございませんわ。3年生のお姉様方からは良い評判しか聞こえてきませんでしたよ。そうなの？だったら嬉しいけれど。
Knowing that someone else enjoyed the fruits of my labor made volunteering all worthwhile.
動機はあまり良くなかったけど、結果良ければ全て良しよね。
Purest motives, I'm sure.
それにしても。
My classmates shared a look and giggled.
何かしら？聞きましたわ。今回のお茶会プラン、皆さんがお考えになったんですってね。あまりこういった行事には関心がなさそうに見えながらも、こんな素敵なお茶会を考えつくなんてすごいですわ。
You never underestimate those who have sleeper in their system.
ミヤさん、さすがですわね。
Miyasan's stock seemed to have skyrocketed overnight. I really wanted to let them know about how she bailed on us the day of the event.
当日はご都合が悪くなったらしく参加できなかったそうですが、きっとご自分でもお茶会を見たかったでしょうね。
No, she wouldn't. She would have just been like, carry on.
それは残念ですね。
Pardon. Oh, let me do that again.
当日はご都合が悪くなったらしく参加できなかったそうですが、きっとご自分でもお茶会を見たかったでしょうね。それは残念ですね。本当に。
Now, pardon me. I had, like I said, I was at a business meeting and I ate. Boy, did I eat!
皆さんのことってみんな都合よく解釈してくれるのね。
She was either socially adept or a liar and sneak. I wanted to let them know my opinion, but I bit my tongue.
本当にミカジョの皆さんって人を疑うことを知らないっていうか、おっとりしすぎなのよ。ミヤさんが出られなかった分、リサさんが皆さんにテキパキと指示を与えていたと聞いておりますわ。雪組の実行委員は2人とも本当に優秀だと先生方もおっしゃっておりましたわよ。
そうそう。
ごちそうさま。
And she quickly walked out.
あらリサさん、もうお食事終わりですの？私ちょっと用事があるので。
I got up and left in a hurry.
私まで一緒に評価が上がっているのはちょっと嬉しいけれど。
A little too much for you?
なんか自分がいたたまれないっていうか、ミヤさんと一緒に評価されるのはなんか複雑だわ。そして噂のミヤさんはやっぱり今日もサボりね。もう
I didn't think I'd be able to enjoy relaxing lunch as long as she kept cutting class.
でも見過ごせないわ。だって私はクラス委員なんだから。 しまったわ。残念。もうまた笑って。私をバカにしているの？
I'm telling you, you need to drink some tea. You're too high strung. Damn it. Back when I first started looking for her, she always had an irritated look on her face. But lately, she always seemed to be smiling for some reason. It was like she actually enjoyed having me chase after her.
私は全然楽しくないんだけどね。いい加減真面目に授業に出てよ、ミヤさん。前にも言ったでしょ。私にはその必要がないのよ。
I suffer from boredom. It's an incurable disease. It's totally incurable. I can't stand it. It's boring me. It's boring me to death.
そうかもしれないけど、サボりすぎよ。留年しても知らないから。三日女に留年なんてあるのかしら。それは。
Actually, I wasn't sure. I knew there were people who took leaves of absence due to sickness or studies abroad, but I never actually heard of somebody being held back before.
ミヤさんみたいに不真面目な方が今までいなかっただけよ。留年だってきっとあるわよ。
They don't.
あらそう。でも私、ちゃんと出席日数は考えているわよ。
I check in every so often. You don't know me. You don't own me.
そうなの？この学校、そのあたりは他の学校と比べるとかなり緩いから助かっているわね。
All you need to know is that I'm here. Count me as here. Fuck the class. Count me as here.
だけど本当に具合悪くなったりとかそういう時に困るんじゃないのかしら。心配性ね、リサさん。その時はその時よ。もう学校に来て遊んでいるだけなら授業に出ればいいのに。少しはためになる話もあると思うわよ。
She does.
そうね。たまにはあるかもしれないわね。でしょ？だったら。
It's not happening.
でもいいわ。テストは一応受けているし、成績は全く問題ないもの。
That's the most important thing. It's like, okay, about the test. 30 minutes. I'm done with my paper. Here, sir. Ma'am.
そうだけど、普通もうちょっと謙遜しないかしら。
I don't know. It's like, for me, I showed up every day for every class. I don't know why, but I think people might have been sick of that. Because there are certain people out there who just don't like successful people. That's what I feel. You know, there are certain people that act like shrews or something like that, and they just don't like people who are successful or happy or something like that. And all I have to say is the fuck's your problem? It was obvious Mia-san was a genius from everything I witnessed up to this point. And she made absolutely no effort to hide it.
だって、それが事実でしょ?
That yes, you are a sleeper genius. Yes, I acknowledge that.
そうだけど。それとね。
Wait, that was smart? Hearing her brag about how smart she was enough for me. What on earth was she planning to tell me now?
学校には親も相当な額を寄付しているから、なんとかなるのよ。
Oh yeah, there's your reason right there. It's like, oh, I can manage to slack off. I can manage to slack off on the classes as long as I show up for the tests and do my homework. Because my parents are just dropping loads of ducats for this school. Now she was bragging about how rich she was too? Obviously, lots of students at St. Michael's had rich parents that just came with the territory. But for some reason, this made me angry.
さぞやすごいご両親なんでしょうね。ミヤさんのところは。ミヤさん？
Until a moment ago, it seemed like she was having fun taking shots at me. But now, she had a clearly displeased look on her face.
ちょっとミヤさん。
She left quietly without responding.
なんなのよ、急に。
It might be because you took it a bit too far there, girlie. And later after that, Miya-san didn't show up for her afternoon classes either. No different from what she usually did, but for some reason I couldn't help but be concerned.
ミヤさん？
ミヤ様、お迎えに上がりました。
You see, you don't go the way of Asuka Soryu Lengri. You don't. You just don't go of the way. You just don't go of the way of the bitch, okay? You just don't do that. Like sometimes, you know, you might just get maybe a slap to the face. If not, a punch to the mouth. If not, a choke.
ありがとう。でも今日は歩いて帰るから先に戻っていて。
承知しました。それではお気をつけて。
We'll be having sandwiches as soon as you get home. After sending away the car that had come for me, I continued walking, increasingly irritated. It'd been quite some time since I felt so addled.
これも全部リサさんのせいよ。
I hadn't been able to get what she said to me during lunch out of my head.
さぞやすごいご両親なんでしょうね。ミヤさんのところは。何よ、リサさんなんかに私の何がわかるっていうのよ。
My pathetic father, who had nearly ruined the company, and my mother, always putting on airs and being abusive towards him. I had no desire to acquiesce to those two, whom I felt such disdain for. I had chosen St. Michael specifically to spite them.
なんでその見かじょでこんな気持ちにならないといけないのよ。
I had intended to spend the entire 3 years idly doing whatever suited my fancy.
どうして彼女は安住リサはこんなにも私に突っかかってくるのかしら。
I had planned for the days to pass without any further. I had planned for the days to pass without any particular significance, free from connections to anyone.
どうして？なんで？
The answer came almost immediately.
それって単に彼女が真面目なクラス委員長さんで私が不真面目な不良お嬢様だからよね。
She's playing the role she wanted to play. Risa's son, who had volunteered to be class representative, and was so happy when she was chosen. Risa's son, who searched for me until she was out of breath. Risa's son, who got so irritated when she was unable to offer a rebuttal to the things I said to her. All these various images of her came to mind.
リサさん、本当におかしな子。
Her words had reminded me of my ill will towards my parents. However, when I thought of her, thought of Risa-san, those dark feelings mysteriously began to fade.
今私
Did I just smile a little? I was surprised at myself. I had only been casually thinking about Risa-san. Possibly in her underwear.
なぜかしら
I mean...
こんな気持ち初めてだわ
Even in a clear state of mind, I couldn't figure out the reason for this feeling. Maybe because I wanted to see her in her underwear. And probably her bra. I'm not sure. No, it was more likely that I didn't want to figure it out.
あらリサさん、人の顔を見ていきなり叫び声を上げるなんて一体どういうことかしら
It turns me on.
ごめんなさい。ミヤさん、ごきげんよう。え、ごきげんよう。リサさん。
That was really embarrassing. I suddenly yelped without thinking, but it was just such a shock. Even so.
ミヤさんが朝から教室にいるなんて、すっごく久しぶりじゃないかしら。
She's not really trying there. These days, you could say it was almost an established character trait for Miya-san to be tidy, but that's how I felt.
朝から教室にいるのが学生として当たり前のことなんだけど、それでこんなに驚くなんて、もう。
Maybe I was getting soft in my expectations of her. It's scary to think I was getting used to it.
今日はこれで安心して授業に。あ、ちょっと待って。もしかして授業が始まる寸前にここからいなくなることだってありえるわ。
Until the bell rang, until the teacher entered the room, I couldn't let my guard down.
そうよ。私は騙されないわよ、ミヤさん。
You know, maybe it would help if you had like a pair of handcuffs, you know. Just throwing that out there, you know. Again, she might be excited by that.
別に騙すつもりなんてないんだけれど。それ、どういう意味かしら？
And she's right in front of you, girl. Right in front of you.
なんでもないわ。先生が来る前に予習しなくちゃ。
Damn moles.
リサさんって本当におかしな人ね。
She was mocking me.
恥ずかしい。もう。
While we were going on like that, the teacher entered the room, and the lesson began as usual.
では時間になりましたので、ここで本日の授業を終わります。来週までにレポートを提出すること。
終わったわ。
Miya-san had actually stayed all the way to the end of first period. First period.
今日はちゃんと真面目に出る気になったのかしら。
Feeling a weight off my mind, I looked beside me. Miya-san was packing her things to go home.
ミヤさん、何をしているの？あら、見てわからない？まさかとは思うけれど、もう帰るなんてそんなわけないわよね。そうね。
Hey, you only said that. She only said one. She showed up once. And that's for one period. She don't have to stay the whole goddamn day if she don't want to.
まさかよね。
Each forced a strained laugh.
お二人とも楽しそうに笑い合ってますわ。よほど楽しいことがあったのですね。
As usual, our clueless classmates' discussion was completely off base.
何を言っているのよ。もう、
For a brief moment, my attention was distracted by them. In a flash, Mia-san was standing, bag in hand.
それではリサさん、本日の残りの授業はサボらせていただくわ。ごきげんよ。
Without even giving me a chance to respond, Mia-san was out the door.
こんなことって、も
Just when I had been in wonder at her rare morning appearance, but this had been her plan all along.
う、どうせまた校内のどこかで時間潰す予定なのよね。次の休み時間になったら探しに行くわよ。
You have until nutrition. I shouted after her, even though there was no way she could hear me.
いないわね。
I didn't know she was moving between breaks, but no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find Mia-san anywhere.
こんな長い時間、一体どこにいるのかしら。
As I was looking for Mia-san, I became fairly preoccupied with her.
授業以外の時間でも、私ってミヤさんのことばっかり考えているみたい。
However, at this point, even I was aware of how much Mia-san preoccupied my thoughts.
サボりが分かってからは、とにかく更新させてやろうってことしか頭になかったけど。
But now, it had become more than that. It seemed like there was some kind of underlying reason for the way she was skipping class. At least that's what I thought.
もっとちゃんとミヤさんと話をするべきなのかも。私は。
Although I was worried whether having an honest conversation with her was even possible at this point. Once school let out, I finally found Mia-san on her usual bench in the central courtyard. I looked here a dozen times during the afternoon, but she was never there.
やっぱり移動してるんだわ。まだまだ私の知らないミヤさんの隠れ場所があるのかもしれないわ。
Maybe she just wants some space. Have you ever thought of that?
ミヤさん。
I was a little worn out. I was out of breath and my throat was dry.
お疲れ様リサさん。よかったらこれどうぞ。
She poured some tea from the nearby pot and held it out to me.
ありがとうミヤさん。
I was so thirsty I took without thinking.
これすごく美味しいわ。そうでしょう。これ私のお気に入りの紅茶なのよ。こんな美味しいの初めてかも。おかわりはいかが？そうね、いただき。ってダメダメ。そんな手には乗れないわよ。もう遠慮はいらないのに。とっても美味しそうに飲んでいたのに。真面目なクラス委員長さ。爆弾はいくら喉が渇いていたからって敵から賄賂を受け取るなんて。
Well, if your throat is very dry, and you know, I would think it would after running around the campus all goddamn day looking for this one person, I would think you would want to get a drink too. Your throat must be parched.
賄賂ってお茶一杯でそこまで大げさにならなくても。いいえ、危うく流されてしまうところだったわ。
Of course. couldn't forget the real reason I was here.
ミヤさん、授業1時間しか受けないとかふざけてないかしら。そうね。
She poured another cup of tea, which she started to drink herself. She appeared to be enjoying a carefree tea time. Where did her composure come from?
それで続きはリサさん。もう
Given the current mood, especially now that I drank her tea, I felt like complaining wasn't going to accomplish much.
いいわ。今日は諦めたわ。もう授業も終わったし。そうね。それじゃ私も帰るわね。
She put away the teapot and stood up.
しょうがないか。あ、そうだわ。
While thinking, I called out to her.
ミヤさん、急いでないのならちょっとお話ししない？え、リサさんが私と？そうよ。用事があるなら諦めるけれど、たまにはいいでしょ
Excuse me. Need a stretch.
まあ。でもお説教だったらすぐ帰るわよ。
I think that's one thing that most people just don't like. Me especially. I don't like lectures. Like, I just find lectures to be a total bore. Just listening to somebody tell me, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you only be like, no, I can't. Okay, just be honest with you, I can't. I ain't got the time nor the patience to do that sort of shit.
それはしません。
I said so plainly, so Mia-san nodded her head and took a seat next to me. I wanted to get to know her better. That goal in mind, I started talking to her about all sorts of things. About school, her classmates. The conversation wandered randomly.
そんなにリサさんは学校が好きなの？好きっていうか、皆勤賞を狙っているから休みたくないのよ。
Ah, those days. I don't miss them at all. Mia-san looked at me as though she was regarding some unusual creature.
黙り込まないでよ。だってびっくりしたのよ。リサさんらしいといえばらしいんだけど。だってね、委員の仕事をしたり会勤だったりすると先生の受けがいいから就職や進学に有利だったりするのよ。
Or possibly something else.
それで？だったら狙うのが当然でしょ？私、これまでそんなこと考えたこともなかったわ。というより、この三ヶ所でもそんな考え方をする人っているのね。
You know, you're just here just because you're here. There are some students that actually do that. You know, they show up just to say, I'm here. You know, they have this, you know, this air of nonchalance, and you know, it's like, yeah, I'm here, and not give a damn.
まあ、三ヶ所の場合、卒業後はそのままエスカレーターで上の学校に進むか、親の仕事関係の会社に就職するか、お見合いするか、そういう人が多いけれど。
Maybe there weren't that many people who gave much thought to their permanent record. But given that I didn't have any connections, I had to work extra hard. I'd seen all the hardships my mom had gone through. It was never too early to start acting with your future in mind. surprise. What kind of school had she attended before this? I was really curious, so I blurted out the question.
ミヤさんはミカジョに来る前はどこの学校に通っていたの？
Pardon.
私は
The name she said was an extremely well-known preparatory school. I was nothing short of surprised.
ミヤさん、なぜそんな超進学校からこのミカジョに来たの？
Excuse me.
それは言いたくないわ。そう、わかったわ。
Somehow, an atmosphere of tension had developed between us. Because the music just changed.
その学校にいたとき、何か嫌なことでもあったのかしら。
Douchebags. But I couldn't push the issue any further. Even so, I still wanted to know a little bit more about Mia-san. For example, what her day-to-day life was like or her family.
ねえ、ミヤさんのご両親は何をしている方なの？
Oh hell. When she heard that, her mood seemed to get even worse.
そういえば前にもご両親のことを聞いて彼女の機嫌を損ねたような。
Her parents were douchebags, yes. Or are douchebags.
どうしてそんなことを聞くの？リサさん。それはもっとミヤさんのことが知りたいからよ。ちゃんと知りたいのよ。
Like she's gonna turn an extra tint of red in her eyes or something like that. Why did you ask me that?
余計なお世話よ。そんな。
The air suddenly turned frigid. The intensity of rejection coming from her was like a wall.
リサさん、もうあまり私につきまとわないで。そんな、ミヤさん。
She spoke with harshness I had never heard from her before. I was so shocked I couldn't even say anything.
私、失礼するわ。
Oh yeah, I've been through that before. Like if I ask too many questions, yeah, I think I should back away now. As I watched her walk swiftly away, it was a long time before I was able to move from the bench. I finally managed to have an ordinary conversation with Risa-san. It was precisely what I've been hoping for some time now. My wish was finally granted today.
彼女はリサさんは別に普通の話をしてきただけよ。それなのに私ったら。
She had no knowledge of my situation, so she certainly didn't mean anything by it. She just asked a harmless, innocent question concerning my parents. In my head, I knew that was all it was.
だけど。
Whenever my parents were mentioned, I found it difficult to control my feelings. It was extremely painful.
リサさん。
What on earth did she think of me now? Just thinking about it made my heart ache. I wouldn't have been feeling this way if it had been anyone else.
リサさん、ごきげんよう。ごきげんよう。
My classmates were politely exchanging greetings. Common sight every morning. Only thing that was different was me.
昨日は随分怒らせてしまったわね、ミヤさんを。
That just made me want to know about her even more. The only reason I had asked about her parents was because I was kind of curious. I never could have imagined she would refuse as strongly as she did. So all morning I felt pretty dejected.
まだ怒っているかしら。
I hoped she would show up like usual. I entered the classroom, but it was no surprise Mia-san wasn't there. She would just leave her bag behind, but that was missing too.
もしかして本当に来ていないの？
Growing concerned, and without thinking, I asked one of my habitually early classmates if she knew anything.
ミヤさんは今日まだ来てないのかしら。ミヤさんですか？そういえば今朝はまだ見かけておりませんわね。そう、ありがとう。
I was getting worried, but maybe she was running late instead of skipping.
でももしかして。
What if she hadn't come because of what happened yesterday? She was in such a bad mood. What if that was why she didn't come to school today?
いろいろ考え出したらすごく不安になってきたわ。
Maybe I was just worrying too much about her. Maybe she was just a bad egg who had gone from skipping class to skipping school entirely.
堕落していくだけじゃ済まないわ。
My vision grew dim.
リサさん、顔色が悪いようですけど平気ですか？本当だわ。保健室に行かれた方がよろしいのでは？
平気です。でも
I was usually careful not to do anything that would worry my classmates. But I didn't have that kind of composure right now, and I quietly took my seat.
ミヤさん、お願いだから早く来てよ。
皆さん、ごきげんよう。
In the midst of everything, the teacher had arrived. She began taking the morning attendance.
綾瀬さんは、あら、いないの？誰か見ていないかしら？
Nobody spoke up to respond.
ねえ、今朝、正門で綾瀬さんの家の車見かけたのに。
I had seen a car come to drop off and pick up Mia-san several times, as they did with many of the students at school.
それなのに来ていない。やっぱり私のせい。
あ、安住さん、どうなさったのですか？
Another plot point!
私、ごめんなさい。失礼します。
I rushed out the classroom, unable to simply sit and do nothing.
もう授業が始まる前にサボってしまったら皆勤賞がもらえなくなるかも。でも
Screw your perfect attendance! But there was no way I could have sat still and paid attention to the lesson.
だってこんなこと初めてじゃないの、ミヤさん。
She had been to school. If I could just find her, like Alice did. I searched each and every one of Mia-san's favorite places to hang out when she was cutting class. Empty classrooms. The assembly hall. Schoolyard. Gymnasium. Searched high and low until the only place left was... Mia-san's most favorite spot of all. The bench in the central courtyard.
ここにいなかったらもう
However, I even went all the way to the back, where there are hardly any signs of life. But Mia-san was nowhere to be found.
荷物もないし、もしかして校内にはいないの？
I wasn't prepared for this, and I felt all the strength drained from my body.
一体学校に来てるのに、そのまま行方不明だなんて。もう心配でたまらないじゃない。
I really wanted to know that she was just cutting class somewhere on campus like she always did. That's all it was then.
どうしよう。
Maybe I should just go back to the classroom. Or maybe I should keep looking for Mia-san. If I went back now and explained the situation to the teacher, she might still be off the hook. She still... Damn, babe. She might have still let me off the hook. Oh, right. 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock. After all, she was the one who had asked me to watch out for Mia-san.
まだ皆勤賞を。
Oh, hell with your perfect attendance. That shit's wrecked. I suddenly looked up at the school building. Class was in session, so it was incredibly quiet. I was just about to take a step back towards the building when I shook my head. No, this wasn't right.
本当に何やってるのかしら、私って。
I couldn't hold back my feelings, couldn't hold back my urges any longer. I need to finger myself! I mean...
ミヤさんのバカ。見つけたら思いっきり文句言ってやるんだから。
I rushed out the school, running as fast as I could.
ミヤさん！
She is really not built for running. I ran up and down the streets aimlessly. Didn't have the first clue where Mia-san would go.
昼間から学生が時間を潰せそうなところは公園とかかしら。
Several parks that I knew in the area. Cafe where you could have relaxed and have tea. Bookstore, corner store. Tried every place I could think of. But no matter where I looked, Mia-san was nowhere to be found.
お願いよ。早く見つかって。
I got a text message from one of my classmates. But you really weren't feeling well, were you?
そういえば顔色悪いなんて心配今までされたことなかったわね。
It's good that my sudden departure from the classroom hadn't aroused any suspicion at least. Right now I just wanted to focus on finding Mia-san.
もうあとはどこに行けばいいのよ。
I almost felt like crying. From anxiety, worry, hopelessness.
ミヤさん、もうどこにいるのよ。
Told myself to stop whining. Now more than ever, I needed to stay calm and focused.
こんな時間に迎えの車を呼べるわけないから徒歩で行ける場所のはず。絶対遠くには行っていないわ。あと探してないところは。
Even a shopping district near the station. But someone hanging around there in the middle of the day wearing the St. Michael's uniform would be even more likely to stand out. That's why I've been ignoring that area.
でもミヤさんなら堂々としていそうよね。
Dragging my exhausted body along, I headed towards the station.
いたー！リサさん？やっぱりこんな目立つところに。もう。
And she busted out in tears. I took a 12 gauge and shot her in the ass. Thank you. The end. My intuition had been right on the mark. I found Mia-san wandering aimlessly in front of the station. I felt a great sense of relief, and the tension I had been carrying this whole time went out of me all at once. I had been right on the verge of tears.
ちょっとリサさん、ここは学校の外なのよ。それにこの時間ってまだ授業中でしょ。こんなところまで探しに来るなんてすごいクラス委員長さんね。無事ってリサさん、あなた。
The faint, relaxed smile she had been wearing vanished. She gently offered her hand to me in my exhausted state. I supported myself against her, on the verge of collapsing.
リサさん、フラフラじゃないの。大丈夫？
平気よ。少し疲れただけよ。
もしかしてずっと私を探していたの？リサさん？
And she passes out. I was too embarrassed to answer her truthfully. Found myself trying to act tough.
これはクラス委員の務めよ。
She responded to my answer with a slight smile and didn't say anything.
ね、学校に戻りましょう、ミヤさん。
嫌よ。今日は学校には戻りたくないわ。
After resting for a bit, both my body and mind had a chance to settle down. I'm sure it did. But Mia-san was firm in her resolve not to return to school. So there was really nothing I could do at this point but leave her alone. I walked alongside her, toward no place in particular. For long, our conversation turned trivial.
それじゃあミヤさん、今日はサボっていただけなの？
ええ、そうよ。
Like grief. I realized her absence today wasn't because she couldn't bear to come to school. She was just cutting class again.
何よもう、あんなに心配したのに。それならいつも通り校内でサボればいいのに、どうして今日は外に出ちゃったのよ。
それは
何？
In a rare show of hesitation, Mia-san looked reluctant to speak. I eyed her silently, till finally she muttered in resignation.
昨日家でね、親と喧嘩してしまって、なんとなく学校には来たくなかったのよ。
なんとなく？
しょうがないでしょ。今日だけは本当に来たくなかったのだから。
何よその理由は。もう。
Even as I scolded her, I breathed a sigh of relief. Looked like it was just a parent-child conflict.
なんでそこでリサさんが安心したような顔するのかしら？
え？私そんな顔していたかしら？まったく目ざといわね。
Of course you were.
違うわ。リサさんが分かりやすすぎるのよ。
そう。
でもどうしてなの？なんでリサさんがそんなに私のことを心配しているの？
Inquiring minds would like to know, yes.
うん。それは私昨日のことでミヤさんを怒らせてしまったのかと思ったのよ。
昨日？ ああ、帰り際でのことね。
ええ。だからミヤさん、もう私には付きまとわれたくなくて学校を休んだのかなって。
あら、そんなことないわ。昨日はついカッとなってしまったけれど。
けれど
リサさんのおせっかいにはもう慣れてきたもの。だからあれくらいじゃ怒ったりしないわよ。
And I could have got away with it if it weren't for you pesky little girl.
おせっかいってもう。
Seem to be giving a lot of one-word responses.
まったくいい迷惑よ。私のせいじゃなくて親子喧嘩でサボって。私これで皆勤賞台無しなのよ。
I doubt it if you showed up once, they see you like, oh, she's here. Oh. They count you as present. Okay, she's present. She's tardy present.
あらそう。だったらどうして私を探しに来てくれたのかしら。
だって友達でしょ私たち。
Yason's eyes got wide. She stared at me. She stood as motionless as a bronze statue.
もしかして私に友達なんて言われて嫌だったのかしら。
Yeah. But I was always concerned about Mia-san. Look how worried I had gotten when I thought of something might have happened to her. So if you thought about it, we were friends, right?
みやさん、もし不快に思ったのなら。
まったくやられたわ。
One moment.
なんて言ったの今。
Sorry about that.
あのね、まだ今日は帰りたくないわ。だからもう少し私の散歩に付き合ってくださらない？リサさん。
だって今日は午後まで授業が。
あら、私たち友達なんでしょ？友達の頼み聞いてくださらないの？
はいはい、わかったわよ。
I had to go and use the F word, so there was no backing out now. Friend? That's the F word? Really? The new F word! Friend. What?
まったく案外わがままなのね、ミヤさんって。
ありがとう。
But seeing her smile like that, face looked just as lovely. No, even more lovely, more captivating than we first met.
やっぱり顔だけはいいのよね。顔だけは。
My heart was starting to beat a little faster. I guess I had no choice. I decided to keep walking Mia-san a little bit longer. Foot! She's diddling herself again. Ever since parting ways with Risa-san, I suddenly found it difficult to breathe. My heart was beating wildly.
この気持ち何なのかしら。
I never would have suspected Risa-san would be so desperate to find me.
私にもたれかかってきたリサさん、とてもいい匂いだった。今まで知らなかったわ。
I thought she looked unbearably cute and so exhausted and defenseless, and then that moment she said, "We were friends, aren't we?" And as though it went without saying. I felt a warmth spread through me, like a dagger in my chest. Couldn't move, couldn't speak.
ひょっとして私は。
That you love her? Had a certain fondness for Risa-san. No, this is more than a mere fondness.
これは
Special kind of affection. That's what I would call it, if I had to give it a name.
あずみリサ
Just whispering her name caused my pulse to quicken even more. The F word. There we go. I think I'm gonna stop here after all that, man. No, 56 minutes. I have nothing but sidebar for this. Nothing but straight up sidebar. So in the next part, hopefully, we finish this. And man, when we finish this, I'm probably gonna pick up another novel play or another visual novel of mine. And possibly, I don't know. Who can tell? You know, just saying. Stay tuned for more of this novel play right after this. They're always playing chase. Right after this.